Hello, this is Mike Lively from Northern Kentucky University, and today I'm going to show you how to use the rotation trick in Second Life to build large structures. Now you see ahead of us there's a very large structure here. It's actually the largest structure on the island, and I was able to build this structure in about maybe half an hour, and I'm going to show you how to use this rotation technique to build structures like this. Let's go down and take a look at it. And it's huge. It's over 70 meters in diameter. And I actually have a TV here. You can click on Play TV if you want to. And we're going to be going along here and actually adding different panels, links, and note card givers. So very much in the process of building this. We're going to start classes here in about 10 days, so we have a lot of work to do. But let me show you how you can build a similar structure. I'm not going to build a structure this large. I'm actually going to scale it down a little bit. In order to use the rotation trick, we actually have to understand a little bit of mathematics, and let's go over that right now. Here is a base of the structure, and it's made up of 16 cubes in a circular arrangement. And we use the rotation trick to create this arrangement very rapidly. Now what I need to know, though, is the diameter of this circle. So what I need to do is understand the little bit of math involved here. So let's take a look at it. And the math is diameter is equal to circumference divided by pi. So what is the circumference of this circle? We're going to approximate it. And that's one important thing you need to understand about Second Life. It's not a CAD program. Everything here is approximations. And you get a little bit of art mixed with science, and you come up with a beautiful world like this. So we have to understand that each one of these cubes that I've created is a 5 by 5. And so that means that this is 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. And as I add all these up 16 times, I get the circumference of this circle is approximately 80. 5 times 16 structures is 80. Now, all I have to do is apply my circumference divided by pi, which is 80 divided by pi, which is approximately 3.41. And I get the diameter is 25 meters. Now, there's a problem here. And that problem is that in Second Life, the distances are actually measured from the center of the cube. So I have to add the center here. So if this is 5 and this is 5, the actual radius I want to be working on is in the center. So it would be 2.5 plus 2.5. So you have a little addition you need to add here. And if you don't take in the fact that your cubes are measured from the center, you'll be off in your arrangement. So I add 2.5 plus 2.5 and I get 30. And that's the diameter I need to work with. So let's build this scaled down structure. So let's start building a scaled down model of the structure we have over here on the left, and we're going to use the rotation trick to do that fairly rapidly. So what is the rotation trick? Shift click drag to duplicate, Control Z to go back to your original position, and the Control to rotate. So what actually happens when you shift click drag on an object, you actually do two things. You duplicate it and you shift it. You move its distance. If you hit Control Z, you actually go back only the distance. And then you still have the duplicated object. And once you have the duplicated object, then you can control to rotate. Now what we need is 2 points, or 2 blocks separated by the diameter, so we can actually rotate around a large pivot point. So let's go ahead and create the first block. And I'll click on a cube. I'm just going to set all the parameters right now in this little panel here. So if I hit Object, and it's going to be 5 width, and 5 X and Y, and the height, the Z direction will be 3. Cool. And so now that object is set. And I'm going to go ahead and set it level with the ground. And you want to make sure that your control grid is set. That you want to make sure that you're using grid. So if you don't see the grid, just go to your edit panel and click on use grid, and then your grids will appear. At this point I want to see where I'm at in position wise. So when I look right here at the position at the X position, I'm going to take it over to 250 just to make it easy for the math. Okay, I'm getting real close here. I may not get right on, but remember, once again, this is not some type of CAD drawing program. So you're not going to get the exactness that you might get out of a program like that. So you can fudge a little bit. Just make sure it looks good at the end. So I want to go down 30. If you remember my original math, I said my diameter had to be what? 30. So we want to pull this down 30. So 30 minus 250 is what? Well, let's shift and drag. We're going to take that down to 220. Great. And now we have two blocks. Let's select the other one. And all we have to do now is shift drag. That's the first thing. I made a duplicate. Control Z to go back. And now let's rotate 90 degrees. So hit the control button and rotate 90 degrees. Okay. And now let's shift click to select the other ones. And now we have 4 selected. Let's go ahead and shift drag to make a duplication. Control Z to go back. And now let's control and rotate 45 degrees. And finally, let's select the other objects. Let's shift drag to duplicate, control Z to go back, and now let's control to rotate 22 degrees. So let go and see we've created the first part of our structure. So we have the foundation of our structure. Let's select the whole entire foundation. Okay. Over here, make sure I can get it all. And let's duplicate that and make a roof. So once again, shift and drag, and there's my roof. And now I want to put in my side panels. Let's make our first side panel. I'm just going to duplicate this by hit shift and drag. And then I'm going to control shift and grab the blue control and shift it all the way up. Let's bring that up. And then what I'm going to do is flatten it all the way. Control shift and flatten it completely. There's my panel. Okay. Let's move it over a little bit. Make it just a little bit smaller. There we go, so it fits in there. Okay. Let's see if everything fits right. So once you get over here, you see it doesn't fit quite right. So let's get it right. Bring it down. There we go. Looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and shift drag and pull this over to the other side. Great. Let's make sure both are selected. And now we're going to shift drag to duplicate and control Z to go back, and now rotate 45 degrees. Or 90 degrees. And rotate 90 degrees. Okay, let's select the other two. And let's go ahead and shift drag to duplicate. Control Z to push back, and let's control to rotate 45 degrees. And now let's select the other ones. Let's move back a little bit so we can. So shift click to select. Okay, let's shift drag. And now let's control Z to go back. And let's go 22 degrees. And there we go. So now let's put the roof on this structure. So I'm going to grab the structure that I have above here. Let's move down a little bit. There you go. So I can get it just that and nothing else. So select that, marquee around it, and just drag it down. And there's my roof. And I've completed my entire structure. Let's add a texture to it. We'll just put white on it for now. Let's bring up my menu. And click on texture. And double click on it. We'll just put blank on there. And there you go. That structure is completed. I can marquee around it now, and you can rotate around it and take a look at it. There you go. Or rotate it over. There you go. So you probably didn't believe me when I said the structure of the right was built in about 30 minutes, but using this rotation trick, it's very easy to build very large structures very rapidly. This structure here, though it is huge, is only about 200 prims, which means it comes up quickly, and you can actually go in there and do what's most important in Second Life, and that's script, and so you can interact creatively with your students.